The Paris attacks are reigniting the debate about privacy versus security. The intelligence community says new encryption technologies may have helped the attackers hide their plans. Edward Snowden's NSA leaks are being blamed for revealing government surveillance methods that could help terrorists avoid detection. Jeff Pegues is in Washington with the challenges facing investigators. Jeff, good morning.
And good morning. The key to finding that out is getting the attackers' computers or cell phones, but it's unclear whether they've actually been recovered. But a law enforcement source says investigators are confident that the Paris attackers were using some form of encrypted communication. Almost 4 days after Paris came under siege, CIA Director John Brennan says terrorists have found new ways to plan major attacks undetected.
In the past several years, because of a number of unauthorized disclosures, there have been some policy and legal and other actions that are taken that make our ability collectively, internationally, to find these terrorists much more challenging.
Without naming names, Brennan appeared to blame Edward Snowden, the former NSA contractor who exposed top-secret details about the agency's phone and internet surveillance program.
As a result of his disclosures, the communications companies are less cooperative with the U.S. intelligence service and law enforcement. And in fact, they're taking direct steps to challenge law enforcement and intelligence community surveillance activities.
But now Brennan and others suggest potential terrorists are using encrypted messaging apps to avoid detection.
I think that Silicon Valley has to take a look at their products, because if you create a product that allows evil monsters to communicate in this way, that's a big problem.
This shows the absolute need to have top surveillance, to stop criticizing the NSA.
Glenn Greenwald, who first published the Snowden document, says before the leaks, terrorists were able to keep their communications under the radar to carry out major attacks, including the 2005 suicide attacks in central London, the 2008 siege in Mumbai, and the April 2013 bombings at the Boston Marathon. He says officials are trying to exploit the Paris attacks to justify increased surveillance. Don't you think after the type of bloodshed that we saw in Paris, law enforcement should have the tools that they need to stop attacks like that?
Law enforcement has had every single tool that they have asked for since September 11th. The problem is that those agencies collect so much information that they have no idea what they're actually in possession of. They had collected so much, they weren't able to connect the dots. The technology industry has been a roadblock on this issue for law enforcement, but the government keeps pressing the industry to share data when national security is at risk. But so far, Gail, privacy concerns have won out.
Thank you, Jeff.